Hello and welcome to another Silent Hunter video here. I'm going to be focusing this game on talking about rotations, warding, when to rotate, when to stay, stuff like that. I picked up Poseidon here. I know his kit extremely well. I play a lot of Poseidon. And I also like his ability to rotate, as well as his ability to clear under tower when a lot's going on with multiple people. And I think overall he's going to be good for this video, so that's why I picked him up. And I picked him up mid.
Yes.
I picked him up mid because mid is one place that gets A, rotated on a lot, and B, has some opportunity to rotate out into both of the side lanes. So kind of really focusing this game on being able to rotate, picking up rotations, picking up wards. Basically, all the things that are really important for a mid laner to do, we're going to talk about that here in this video. Now the start that I've been going on Poseidon, Vampiric Shroud, boots 1 for the movement speed, gives you no extra damage, but then I pick up a potion of magical might, which does give you 50 extra magical power for 5 minutes. So, I'm not going to pop it yet. I usually use it once I...
Be careful,
It looks like they are invading really hard left lane. Artemis should have rotated into lane rather than continuing through the jungle. Ymir is now caught out over in the left side with 5v2. They are now all caught out.
Retreat!
We need to start picking this up. And it looks like, there we go. I'm going to leash that off. It looks like they were able to get out of there.
Help!
But they're probably most likely going to lose their blue buff. What they should really be doing is going back around the tower in that left lane and picking up, just going into lane and getting ready to start farming lane minions. Looks like they have all rotated into the mid now.
Be careful!
I'm just going to push my tower up. Mid's going to lose a little bit of farm off of this. As you can see, he is only level 1 and is now losing gold to minions and taking quite a bit of damage down to half health. So while they did put their duo lane up a little bit, it's going to give me a lot better start over this Ao Kuang. Granted, he does now have mana buff. However, the overall damage that he's going to get and sustain that he's going to get is going to be outweighed by the fact that I'm going to have a couple levels. And he poorly placed his tornadoes there for that first little bit of damage. He did get a little burst on me with his squall. However, he now has numerous minions in the tower, and he's really not doing a good job of focusing them out, and so he's going to lose a bunch of gold there. And we'll take a look here in just a second after I clear this wave at gold difference here, and I'm be willing to bet that I actually have more gold than this Ao Kuang based off of how this lane has started. Alright, so Ao Kuang is at 1860. I've got almost 300, about 300 gold difference right now. He's going to catch up a little bit if he gets some of these last hits. Yeah, so he's now at 1900, but I still have, what, a little over 200, about 250 gold lead on him. Looks like junglers have now rotated out of the duo lane, or the solo lane. So I need to keep that in mind, as there are going to be jungler rotations coming mid. So I don't want to push up too far right now and take too much damage from Ao Kuang and or his jungler, who we'll take a look at in a second. It's going to be Fenrir. So they got a Fenrir jungle. Ao Kuang trying to drop his tornadoes because he can. He's got that mana buff.
Your right tower is under attack. Enemy, be right back. Cancel that.
I'm not sure if we got either of those. I don't think... I know... I'm not sure what happened.
Retreat!
We need to be getting this left side. It looks like Bakasur is going to back off here. Let me pick up my ultimate, as we are both now level 5.
Be right
and rotate over here for this myself.
Okay.
Ao Kuang is most likely going to join me, but I'm going to be able to clear it out. Tries to use his ultimate, misses his ultimate, and I'm back in lane again. Just rotating out and in and out, making sure to clean up the mid camps, but also trying to keep my mana up so that I have anything I need to do. I'm going to actually stay for one more lane. As you can see, the mid lane minions are about to hit the lane right here. So I don't want Ao Kuang to get free damage because his tornadoes can clear the entire wave right now. So I want to be able to drop my abilities to clean up the wave myself before backing. So I also don't lose out on any farm. There it is. That's all of the minions. I got all of them. Ao Kuang's actually still sitting there beating them with his basic attacks. So I'm going to back here because I am out of mana. I'm going to pick up boots 2 mana pots, 2 wards so that I can ward my lane. We're actually going to get Aegis to deal with the Ao Kuang ult. If he does manage to land it later, having the Aegis is going to clean that for me. I actually really should have picked up beats 1, but I messed up there. For the Fenrir ultimate, I forgot that he was in the jungle, as he hadn't ganked mid yet. So that's something to keep in mind as well, is what junglers you're facing up against. Matters a little bit. It's a little bit less important in terms of the rotations, which is what I'm kind of focusing on here, but it is something to keep in mind when you are purchasing actives. Now that right side mid harpy is going to spawn very shortly here. Looks like Ao Kuang has gone and picked up the teleport, which is going to make it a little bit harder for me to outpush him because he can back whenever he wants and come into lane. However, at the same time, it does mean that he has no actives available for defense, which means he's going to be very gankable by this Bakasura if he does pick this up. Now, picking that up by myself, going to use one of my mana pots here. Looks like Fenrir just ulted left.
Be careful, enemy missing middle. Be careful, white. A mighty storm.
Ao Kuang is going to use that tornado on me. Unfortunately, he has a very easy clear at this point. And this may be my opportunity to get a kill here. Yes, it is. It's going to be a pretty easy kill on this.
A mighty storm. Be careful.
I have my ultimate available as well, but I can save that. Missed a few abilities there. Missed my one that would have definitely secured my kill. Just going to be careful here with the Fenrir in the lane. Now I'm going to use my Aegis and my Kraken there. And I'm going to get a kill on Fenrir as well, even though I missed my one again. So, I had the ward, so I knew when the Fenrir rotated into mid lane. And I also... I'm going to pick up beats here now. I would like to get sprint, but they move where beads are. I'm going to pick up 1 mana pot and 1 ward. I rarely ever, the only time I ever leave without a ward when I'm playing mid is if it means that I can finish out an entire item to get the passive. And actually, I messed up. I shouldn't have gone Shoes Focus. I should have really gone with Pen Boots here. I think would have been better off with this character, and then going into Breastplate for the defense against the Fenrir. I'm actually just going to let that Ao Kuang have the mid camp, so I probably should rotate to it. But at this point, I got to the lane a little bit too late. It really wasn't a big deal to me in my mind. So I just let him have it. I'm actually 2 levels up on him. I have both wards up, right and left. Right side mid harpies are about to spawn again. Yes, I got you. So we're going to prepare for this. If I can, I'm going to drop a whirlpool, rotate into lane. Here comes Ao Kuang. You should hog it here.
Okay.
Or he could have eaten that minion as well. Bakasura is one of the hardest gods to steal harpies from. Okay, fine. I messed that up actually right there quite heavily. Try it out. Didn't miss that.
Knife drop. Your right tower is under attack.
Just gonna clear my wave up and back again.
Knife drop. Okay.
I'm back here. Looks like Fenrir is left.
Be careful.
Just let everybody know. And I think I'm actually gonna go into Gem immediately. Get the CC that it applies. The slow that it applies on the Whirlpool of Poseidon is very strong on him, and it's gonna let me do a lot more things in terms of rotating, and as well as it helps me slow. Not so much an effect on a Fenrir Brutalized, but it's going to help me escape as well as help my team escape or secure kills here once I finish it out. Since I'm a little bit ahead of my opponent, this Ao Kuang, it is going to let me pick something up that's a little bit more expensive, something maybe I shouldn't be picking up early game. And here I can see in the right lane the shock is very deep, and is kind of out of position. I'm going to try and rotate here as there is no... I'm going to call missing mid. Looks like Shock has actually managed to get out completely. So I'm just going to go back to my lane, actually. This is what I'm going to do here.
Enemies in middle way. Take left lane.
So Fenrir is going to get that without any contestation. And I'm going to come into mid. My beads are down. His ult should be up. So I need to keep that in mind.
Retreat left lane. Be careful, middle tower.
This is not a good place. We don't need to attack. We really don't want... I don't want him to attack this. I want him to be careful. He is a little bit behind the Fenrir. So giving him a kill here would be very big.
Be careful, white. Retreat right way.
So right lane needs to be careful. The Fenrir is over in that right side. There he is. So my Ao Kuang is mid, so I can't really rotate on that right now because Ao Kuang can clear this wave out very quickly. What I'd like to do here is actually get some damage on the Ao Kuang and maybe force it back from him. Forcing him to miss his ability there. I can still see over in the right lane that the Fenrir is there, so I know that I can be pushed up a little bit right now.
Careful, white.
But he needs to be careful.
Enemy missing middle. Cancel that.
Missing mid called right there. Maybe not necessarily necessary. What did it call it? Ao Kuang is playing extremely passive and annoying.
Free. Nice job.
I'm actually going to rotate over here, help this Ra out now as he is pretty low. He's trying to get out with the Shock. Bakasura is also rotating. We're going to come in here and see what we can do. Try and put some damage. He's going to be healing very well right now. Just going to kind of pass that. Going to get some damage out on this Ao Kuang. Maybe picking up the kill on the Ao Kuang, who rotated into the jungle a little bit late and was in very bad position, especially having missed some of his skills. And that's one thing you got to be careful with when you're rotating, is how you're rotating, where you're rotating to, where you're rotating from. That Ao Kuang rotated from mid, which was necessary because I rotated from mid. However, with his rotation back into lane, he rotated right into me, putting him in direct fire of my abilities and power. He also missed his Squall, which would have slowed me enough to potentially get him out of trouble. However, he missed it with a dodge from me, forcing him to not really have anything left as his ult was already down, as well as the fact that his Slither, I believe, was also down because he used that to come try and help out in the right lane. So all of his abilities were on cooldown when he came into lane, and instead of coming into lane the safe way, which would have been going up through the lane and coming that way, that would have been much more safe for him.
Be like that.
I might get my tower here. He came in the lane directly into me, trying to
like that. Be careful.
Trying to get damage on me and get in the lane to get farm. However, I did use the fact that I'm Poseidon. I used my 1 to knock him up to give him a little bit more CC, give me some duration on my cooldowns on my 3, and just made it a lot easier for me to put damage on him. Just letting him know that his mid lane's in mid, or his right lane, the solo laner Shock, is now in mid and is going to put some damage on mid. He's just going to go out behind me.
Be careful, web. Enemy missing white.
Not sure where he's going. There's Fenrir. I'm actually going to take this since I'm here. Might as well, why not? And it looks like...
An ally has been slain. Sorry.
Get that. There we go. Landing the ultimate, which does do a knock-up as well as a stun if you hit him in the center, as well as a very large amount of damage. We're going to get the tower here as well while we're at it. I'm going to clear that out just so the Ra doesn't take too much damage. I'm using my abilities a little bit more than I probably necessarily needed to. However, having the Ra at full health is good. We do know that the right lane, the solo laner, is currently out of his lane as he's here. He's now rotating back into the right lane. So we do need to get somebody Nope, he's right here. He was just rotating behind us, and since we didn't have the ward here that I usually place,
Be right back.
there, now we do. We did not get to see that rotation because I'd placed the ward down here. Now Shock's going to take that for free. I'm not going to fight him. I'm going to come over here and pick up this left heartbeat. No reason for me to put myself in the way of damage if I don't need to, for a little bit of farm that I can pick up for free over here.
Be careful! Defend left way!
Now, we do have people over in the right lane, so I'm going to look at
Be right
this
back.
Ao Kwang when he comes back.
Enemy
I'm not
missing
quite sure
middle.
where he is. I haven't really utilized the attack buff that I picked up very much effort and kind of pull out, come back in. This is where positioning is bad for us. This Ra needs to retreat under tower. He is going to get picked up by the Fenrir and does not have beads. Shock is right behind me, so I need to be careful not to take too much damage from the shock. Looks like Ra is going to be okay.
Rampage!
No, and actually pick up a kill.
Between!
I'm rotating back over to him behind him. I'm not going to come in through the lane because that's a dangerous place where he looks like he's going to get out. Coming back into mid as Shock is mid right now. Don't want to lose my tower to Shock, so I'm going to come in here. And actually, since I'm kind of low... Oh, there goes his hammer throw, so I know that his damage is down.
Be careful, left! Enemy incoming! Between left way!
Letting left know that there is an enemy incoming, which is the Shock. Gonna go ahead and pick up Greater Aegis for the CC. It allows you not to take CC. The other one allows you not to take damage but move. This one roots you in place, but removes CC. Because you can Aegis while under the effects of crowd control. Since they have a lot of crowd control, if I don't have my beads up, I would like to be able to use that.
Be careful,
There's the
left.
Shock. We can now see him from the wards that we have. I'm going to use this to stack up my passive here. And then once this wave comes, I'm going to use my tidal wave to clear the whole thing out. I can hear the Ao Kwang's coming. I missed my skill here, and he did not. However, I was able to get out of his tornado. I'm going to put some pretty decent damage on him with this, and I'm going to slow him. So that's what that does.
A mighty storm!
I'm just going to kill him with the ultimate.
An ally.
I now need to be careful because the Fenrir is right there. However, he apparently is not paying attention to the fact that I'm at less than half health and was very focused on getting mid-camp. So had he been paying a little bit more attention, he probably could have not only killed me, but maybe even saved his Ao Kwang because I played that really poorly. I am missing a couple skills. So I'm just going to clear that out again as I do. The key to moving around, backing, not only just backing, but rotating everything. Whenever you're leaving your lane, you don't want to take damage. So if there's an opportunity for you to clear up your lane before you leave it, do so. So now my minions are pushed all the way up.
Be careful, white! Help left way!
I'm going to go help left, as this Ymir is in danger of that. Really should not have been pushed outside of tower range for any reason 1v2. Especially against the two that he was 1v2 against. I'm going to rotate here. It looks like Bakasura is going to pick up this Ra, maybe? No. I'm going to rotate around behind him as he is going to run down the lane. There he is. Using my 2 here is going to apply CC. Or is going to apply the slow. Ra's going to ult there.
100 glasses with a wet noodle!
Shit! I just took that. I was trying to... No, there's a Shock behind us. Shock CC is going to come down there. And we're going to come over here now. We did not have a ward. And I'm going to go defend right as well as I ward this.
Be careful, middle! I will defend white way! Be careful, middle!
Yeah, I know it's now Kwang, so I need to be careful with this rotation. It looks like he's missing.
Enemy missing white!
So he is missing. I'm going to use the fact that he is missing to push up this lane a little bit just so it's not under tower. Like that. And I'm going to rotate back into mid lane. Now, since I do have Vampiric Shroud, I'm getting health and mana, a little bit of health and mana back every time I clear a creep. Mostly the health right now. The sustain from that is really good. I'm going to drop that and my ultimate on top of that real quick. I did get inside the tornado, which did do some damage.
Be careful, retreat!
Now I am kind of low health and mana. We really shouldn't be fighting this here. It looks like Artemis is going to go down. Ra is going to fight this out Kwong. Out Kwong all coming down. Going to use that to apply this slow. This Ra's stunned, and it looks like, oh, I honestly was not trying to get that kill. I was just basic attacking him. I don't know where I got the damage for that. What we really need to do here is attack mid. It looks like their Shock is the only one up, and he's sitting over here. He's gonna leave. It looks like if Ra drops his heal properly, we can take this tower. There it is. And that's what I meant by drop properly. Healing the melee minions to keep them with enough health so that none of them have died yet. And we're gonna get this tower right here without any fight. We need to start retreating right now. Shock's gonna rotate in. This Fenrir chases me. Good. Fenrir chased me, which is good. I had my beads up as well as my Aegis if I needed it. I'm gonna drop my whirlpool right there. It's gonna apply a cripple and a slow. Looks like we're actually gonna fight this, which I'm okay with. Shock's gonna jump out. That. There it is. Bakasura is now on top of him. Shock's gonna use his ultimate. Shock's ultimate is down. Looks like that's gonna happen as well, though. Just gonna retreat at this point. We've got some decent wards, but there's really no point to continue fighting. I have no mana. So we're gonna finish up Spear as well as Beach, just to have my actives done as well as the short cooldown, which is gonna make me rotating into the jungle a little bit safer. It looks like Ra's rotating left. Ymir is pushed up and not with his Artemis. It looks like we've got Fenrir as well as Bastet in the mid lane at the mid camps that are both gone right now. The Ra is caught out. If they can CC him before anybody else, looks like this Fenrir is going to rotate. I'm going to pick him off in the jungle like I was talking about. If you pick a bad place to rotate into, he's going to be dead here. Just like that. So I was trying to apply the Kraken to get the kill before I took too much damage. Missing a bunch of stuff on the stun Bastet, which is unfortunate. I'm now low health again. That's how Kwong is rotating a lot, which is good for him. He's going to get a lot of farm from that because he's getting a lot of solo farm. However, he does have a very nice ult for team fights that applies some pretty good CC, as well as his tornadoes that can be used very well for zoning. However, with that, he does not have the damage that he should have because of his build, honestly, and he doesn't really have any of the escape mechanisms that I do with my Aegis and beads to keep me alive in the team fights in case something does go wrong. So he pushed up his wave, but all of that was for nothing if it just gets cleared out like that. I'm also 4 levels ahead of him right now because of my rotations and my farm. I have 9 kills. Right now, I'm actually going to go into Polynom for the Polynomicon's passive, which is going to give me the passive itself. Actually, we're going to do this.
Shut down.
Sell that. Pick that up for the lifesteal. I really want the passive. It's going to let me do. Excuse me. It's going to let me do a lot more damage to towers. It also helps on gods.
Triple kill.
Who just picked up that triple kill? I'm not sure who just got that. Maybe the Shock. But nonetheless, I'm going to need to rotate on this Gold Fury. They're going to fight that. I'm going to pick this up real quick. Give me the damage that I need to fight them over there. And rotate to the Gold Fury, as their team should also be rotating. Use that and a mana pot as well. Keep my mana up. It looks like Fenrir is coming here. Nope, he is going to the Gold Fury as well. They just got it. So I wasn't able to get there in time because I stopped and got the red buff. However, there were also a lot of them there. Probably not a fight I would have wanted to make anyway. I'm going to take this opportunity to get some farm myself.
Defend left way.
So we got a ward here. I know where they are. They're coming to me. This Fenrir is going to jump on me here, I believe. Nope, he's not. If I can get... I'm just going to dodge that. I would have liked to have gone on the Fenrir, but he dodged. Actually, he ran away, and the rod, it's down.
No.
I don't think they... There's a ward to show that it's down. Gonna rotate into mid very haphazardly. I don't know what I'm doing.
Defend middle lane.
Be careful.
I'm actually going to rotate behind the tower. I don't want to take any unnecessary
Your
damage.
middle tower is
Like I was
under
talking
attack.
about that Kwong did earlier, coming directly into my face. I'm going to use this to slow the Rock. Get a stun off and a kill. Right there, getting a lot of damage out with the Kraken, and he was slowed, and I had my... I had the spear stacked up. Looks like they actually picked up a fire giant here.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been
Getting that done is a big pickup for us. That's 2 down from fire giant. Unfortunately, we did trade 2 for 2 there, but that's 2 of them that don't have fire giant. And Fenrir not having fire giant is a big deal. I'm just gonna clean that out. Not necessary to waste all of my mana trying to push that up. This Ymir has now been caught way out on his rotation. He's on his way to us, and he's going to be okay. But there was really no need for him to be where he was. He shouldn't have been that far pushed up.
Be right back. Be careful.
Ymir can't really do any damage, so pushing up without somebody that can do damage is really a waste of our tank. He does have a lot of CC,
has left the game.
as well as a wall that he can use to zone people out, and all around be a tanky, big, fat ice giant, which Ymir's really good at because he's a big, fat, tanky ice giant. So what he needs to do is he needs to be in these team fights. He needs to be utilizing his big, fat, tanky ice giant capabilities. I'm gonna go ahead and miss. That's fine. I'm terrible. Oh my god. Shock hurts really bad. What the hell? Shock has built Aussie, Warrior Tabby, Heartseeker, Rage, and probably Deathbringer is going to be his finishing build. So Shock built pure damage. He has only Shock general tankiness, which is going to give us the opportunity to kill him, but because he is Shock Ymir, really looks like that doesn't even matter. Okay. I got picked there. I wasn't thinking Shock was going to be able to put out that much damage. I hadn't looked at his build, and that's completely and utterly my fault for not really paying attention. We also don't have any map vision.
Attack left leg.
We need wards, we need vision. We're actually ahead by 1 tower. It looks like we got both mid towers. Yeah, so we're ahead by 1 tower. The overall gold difference is they're actually ahead. They got the Gold Fury, and they've done a little bit better job of farming. However, they are now down a player. They are missing Bastet? Yes, they're missing their Bastet, who is actually the furthest behind on their team, or actually is at this point right now. Looks like we did just pick up a left tower.
Enemy tower.
Be careful, web.
No.
Enemy incoming.
Retreat.
So Sao Kwong is still here in the mid lane right now because he hasn't gotten a tower.
Be careful.
I'm going to use this ward here. I'm actually not going to put it in the buff. Those mid harpies aren't as important right now, so having the better vision on the rotations is going to be what I'm focusing on those 2 wards.
Be careful.
We have
web.
no vision aside from the 2 wards that I have up right now, though. So any rotations in the jungle is going to be very dangerous for our team because we don't have the vision of where their team is. And it looks like they're here. They were actually in our jungle.
Your right tower is under attack. Retreat.
Defend white way.
We need somebody to go rotate over on them. Slow is fun. Dude, somebody... No one rotated. I was
Your
trying...
right tower has been destroyed.
So, really, Bakasura should have rotated before the Shock rotated. The Bakasura doesn't have a whole lot of easy clear. So, leaving me in mid lane to stay against the rest of the team like I wanted to do, like was my plan, would have allowed us to not take middle tower damage. However, because the Bakasura didn't rotate there, it forced the rest of our team to rotate out of lane, as we did. We'll see if I can get a pick. I don't know how I got that. We'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it, go. Alright.
kill.
There we go. Looks like our team is getting...
Retreat!
Do not
Retreat!
fight the shock. Just don't fight the shock.
Triple kill!
Okay. I was trying to apply the Gem of Isolation slow. I was trying to apply the Gem of Isolation slow because I knew that that was going to be what burned him down, and I couldn't get all the way over to the Fenrir to use the cripple from my... Okay. To use the cripple from my 3. Alright, Fenrir, they just got Gold Fury again. This shock is playing very, very well, and is very, very farmed, which is giving our team a lot of trouble, because he's the reason... I almost guarantee you he's the reason they got Fire Giant, he's the reason they got that mid tower. He's got the 1 kill on me, which I know isn't really that big of a deal for the team. Kind of sucks. We do need to rotate the Fire Giant. Apparently we don't even have any so. We have no wards. This is really, really, really exceptionally terribly bad for our team. I really hope this Ymir has... There we go, we got Hog. So we did get that.
Be like that. Be careful.
We have absolutely no vision aside from the wards that I've been placing. I'm going to go into Rod here.
Your left tower has been destroyed.
And still, I'm the only person on the team that's picked up any wards. I don't know why it's only showing I have 1, but nonetheless, I'm the only person on my team that has wards right now in my kit, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that's had wards in my kit for most of the game. We should really be attacking right or left since we're there, whatever. I'm going to stay with the team. I think this is a bad decision to rotate into mid, but I don't want them to get caught out, and I also don't want to get caught out. It's a dead rock. I knew the shock was there, so that's why I rotated back into the lane quickly.
An ally has been slain.
I need to get out. There we go. Okay. Ao Kuang is behind us. Ah, my Aegis didn't go off when I pressed it. Need to be careful not to get hit by the squall here. I'm actually not even gonna... Oh, okay.
Dag. Be like that.
Actually,
A mighty storm.
we may be able to pull this out here. This rock can give me a good heal. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna be able to stay here with my healing and the raw healing that I got a little bit ago, and the healing that you get from the Fire Giant buff. Yes. That's why I'm following all of you guys around. I'm actually gonna pick this up too. We need to pick a lane and attack that.
Attack White Blade. Be careful, White.
I don't know why the Ymir should not. Again, the Ymir and the Bakasura are up way too far right now. They're both pretty underfarmed, considering. The Bakasura is behind the Fenrir, that's his lane mate, and I guess technically the Ymir is not underfarmed because his counter is gone. So we really need to take this tower since they are going to be pushing the other lanes up. We actually may be able to push all the way through if we're very careful and smart about this. We're going to make sure to use the Polynomicon abilities here on the tower. We need to continue pushing.
Attack! Attack! Attack middle wave!
Attack, dude. No! Focus the tower. Oh my goodness, Ymir. No. What? What? Apparently I took 800 damage from the fireball. I don't know when the Phoenix did 800 damage to me, but okay. Bakasura really should not have jumped there. I see what he's going for. May get this kill. He did get the kill, but was picked off by the Fenrir. The Fenrir is very fed at that point. We really should have backed off. What we really needed in that right lane.
Your left Phoenix is under attack. Your left Phoenix has been destroyed.
Physical. Let's get physical. Physical. You know what? We're going to go. Yeah, you know what? Okay, we're going to go breastplate. This is why I said at the very early. Oh my goodness, they took 2 Phoenixes with that. So this is why I was saying earlier I should have gone pen boots. I should have gone pen boots and gotten breastplate much sooner. Would have helped out my build a lot. I did die twice. I mean, I guess I only died twice, but still would have definitely helped out. Would have given me a little bit more pen earlier on because I would have had pen boots. It wouldn't have made me as I couldn't have spammed quite as much. Yes, we do need to defend that. We still don't have any wards. This is the biggest thing. Like, their Ra has wards. Their Shock has Eye. I guarantee you at least somebody else at some point has picked up a ward somewhere. Right? So they have a lot more map vision than we do. And this is going to make that. This is what lets them know where we are. This is what lets them know when they need to rotate to certain things, where they need to rotate to certain things, and how they need to rotate to these things. And use that to trying to zone, use my skills accordingly, taking an exceptional amount of damage. Oh my goodness. Apparently from the Ra ult, landing right on top of me. I know Searing Pain killed me. Brutalized did some damage. Divine Light, as well as Celestial Beam and Solar Blessing. So me getting in their faces, trying to make some saves, help some people out, ended up making me take a lot of extra damage. And unfortunately, it was also all physical or magical damage from the Ra. Ra did a little bit from Brutalized, but Ra did almost all of my damage, all of the damage to me. This is game at any point. I don't know why Artemis is fighting minions up there. But that was a good game. And honestly, I would say that a lot of that comes down to whatever. It's not your fault. Honestly, the dual lane really wasn't a factor. It was the Shock. It was the Shock and the Ra that really did the most damage there. Fenrir actually picked up late game and really pulled ahead, getting a lot of farm. Even though he had kind of a slower start. Pretty good build all in all. He has lots of damage. The only problem is he doesn't have lifesteal, but he does have his buff on that for the lifesteal. But what it's going to come down to is warding. I was the only person whenever I checked on my team that ever picked up any wards. There were a few times that I saw wards elsewhere on the map that weren't, that I placed down. But if you look at their team, Shock has wards, Shock has Eye, Ra has wards. Fenrir was probably also picking up wards. I know it's unfair to say probably. This Bastet definitely didn't have wards, I can tell you that. And I'm pretty sure Ao Kuang also did not have any wards. So, but they still had 2 people picking up and placing wards throughout the map. The ward vision is a lot smaller now. It was just recently nerfed. So that's going to hinder the vision that you have, which means now more people should really be picking up wards if you want vision of the jungle. They had pretty much free roam. That Shock took his tower very early and was able to start roaming. Shock was able to start roaming very early because he pushed Ra under tower, and which made him really strong. I don't know where their Ra must have been playing duo lane. Oh, it must have been Ra Bastet. Okay. So Ra Bastet in the duo lane, I guess. I didn't even pay attention to where he came from. Actually, Ra got outplayed pretty well. Or maybe it was Shock solo? I saw him take the right tower. That's why I assumed he was right. So maybe it was Ra v Ra. That's very likely what happened, actually. With Shock support, maybe? I don't know what they did. They all built damage. They don't have any tanky players, which meant having a Ymir on our team, as well as the fact that they're best at DC'd, should have given us a major lead. But we never got to use that because our team fights and our vision of the the entire map was very poor. And it meant that, one, I didn't get to rotate very much because people were rotating into mid a lot. So unfortunately I didn't get to talk about how to rotate, when to rotate. I did talk about it and point out a few times where I did rotate. But our team on a whole just wasn't moving anywhere. We were in our lanes and we weren't going places. We had kills on them, they had gold on us. They got Gold Fury a couple times. Obviously, they got all the Phoenixes and towers down, so that gave them a little bit of gold. They only ended with a 10k gold difference, considering the fact that they got Fire Giant a couple times, once or twice. I know they got it once. They got Gold Fury at least twice that I saw them get it. They got all of their towers down. So considering the objectives that they got over us was vastly superior, we still were only 10k down at the end, which isn't too bad in terms of gold. So our gold difference wasn't that big. But if you look, my gold difference from everyone else on my team is huge. I did a pretty good job of farming. I was mid, so I'm going to get more farm. And I was actually ahead of the Ao Kuang considering the gold difference that their team has. I should have been behind that Ao Kuang, but I wasn't because I farmed well. I also got a lot of kills, which helps gold farming. And I farmed a lot off the Ao Kuang, and to talk about that, I was able to easily farm off the Ao Kuang because of his actives. One way to shut down a Poseidon early game is to pick up Aegis. You can Aegis through his ult. Early game, he's going to be able to put out a ton of damage focused around that ultimate. Nobody on their team, anyone, has Aegis. I picked up 12 kills, a lot of which were from massive amounts of damage from my ultimate. I even picked up basically a one-hit kill on the Ra because of that. Now, I didn't even pick up my last item. I went defensive and probably could have switched up my build a little bit here or there to maybe make myself a little bit tankier, a little bit better to withstand those fights. Maybe give myself a little bit more pen with pen boots. Since I ended up going breastplate anyway, that was just a hindsight, a bad pick on my part. I really definitely should have gone pen boots and breastplate. Maybe skipped out on the Polynomicon and got Voidstone. Actually, probably would have been a good pickup on me as well. Give me a little bit of tankiness against the Ao Kuang and the Ra, especially since I was facing an Ao Kuang and he was trying to focus me with his tornadoes. Picking up a Voidstone would not have been a bad pickup for me. I'm not sure what he was building into. Most likely, my guess would be he was going for a Gem of Isolation with this. On the Ao Kuang, the Voidstone here was... it looks like maybe a late pickup. Again, I did a really poor job this time of focusing on enemy builds, counter building, as well as paying attention to what they're counter building. So that was bad on my part. That was something I definitely could have done a lot better job of doing, was paying more attention to what everyone was building. Like I said, the Shock tore me down really quickly early game, because not early, mid to late game, because I didn't pay attention to his build. I had thought that he had gone solo lane. I thought that he had built a little bit tankier, so I wasn't quite as worried about it when he showed up in my lane. Well, he showed up in my lane and destroyed me. He completely wrecked me with just basic attacks. He hit me abilities a little bit, but it was mostly focused around his basic attack damage on me, and it just completely wrecked my life. So that was a lot of damage put out by the Shock. He did a great job after they got that tower of pretty much just roaming all the time, putting out tons of damage, helping his Fenrir pick up kills and get caught back up after kind of a not great start. And as you can see, that Fenrir started pretty high, or ended very high. He ended up with the most farm on their entire team, most kills on their entire team. And let's take a look at damage. The Ymir actually did a good job of soaking up a ton of damage. That's good. Shock also mitigated and took a lot of damage as well. Shock also put out a metric ton of damage, 26k. Shock actually outdamaged everyone in the entire game. He outdamaged me even though I had big AoEs, did a ton of damage as well as got a lot of kills with it. I did accidentally take a couple just mindset of attack, attack, attack. I did secure or steal a couple, none of which was purposefully waiting. I know one definitely 100% looked like it. When I took the kill from the Ra, I really felt bad about that one for sure. And it looks like our Artemis was pretty far behind in damage. Bakasura was really, really low on our team for damage. Bakasura should be putting out a lot more damage than that just because he can put out true damage. He can do a lot of damage to anyone in the game. And they didn't have anyone that was specifically tanky or too much CC, really. They did have some. They had the Fenrir ultimate. Excuse me. They did have the Fenrir ultimate and the Shock ultimate, the slow from Bastet, and the ult from Mao Kwong, all of which do some damage. The slow from Mao Kwong as well, and Ra has a slow as well. But they didn't have a ton of really, really hard CC, so Bakasura really should have had a lot easier time in the jungle getting damage out. He didn't even, he picked up, he never finished his Hog, which he could have gotten finished. He should have finished into Fist, which would give him a stun, making it a lot easier for him to pick up kills. And he could have either gotten Sprint or Beads, depending. Sprint would have been really good. Finishing out Sprint on this Bakasura would have been huge for him. Because of all the slows they have, he could sprint through the slow once it got applied. He already had Haste and Fatalis, so having Sprint on him would have helped him out a lot. I know finishing items is really important, but if you notice, I finished both of my actives before I had really even finished my core build. Mostly because I wanted to get Beads up and Aegis up from the damage, and I was pretty far ahead even early game, so I knew that I could put a little bit of extra money into staying alive with my actives. And what I really should have done is put a little bit less into actives and changed around my build a little bit to be a little bit tankier. Is definitely one thing in terms of itemization I would do. As for that, I mean, the Bastet DC'd. I'm not sure what her plan was with this build. I would have put Jotuns here instead of Executioner. Executioner gives you attack damage and attack speed, but Jotuns gives you cooldown, which is really, really good on Bastet, especially since she picked up Warrior Tabby. Her early physical penetration would have been plenty high, mostly because Ymir was our only tank. That it really wouldn't have mattered. Winged Blade, cooldown reduction, attack speed, movement speed, health. This is an interesting pickup on Ymir. Ymir, I guess he's going for the speed so he can keep up. Also only had Hog 1. Artemis never finished out Sprint and had Hog 3. Which did secure, I will say the Artemis Hog 3 did secure Fire Giant for us, but not really a good item on a ADC. Ymir should have finished out his Hog. Artemis should have picked up Beads for the Fenrir and finished out her Sprint. Even though Sprint is now a lot more expensive, it is still extremely, extremely beneficial to have in your core build. Bakasura probably should have picked up Sprint as well. Ymir should have had Eye for sure. And if he wasn't going to go Eye, he needed to be picking up wards more often, which he didn't do. He could have gone Blink and Eye, or Creeping Curse and Eye, or not Eye, Creeping Curse and Hog, or I forget what it's called. The Heavenly Agility and Eye would have also been really good. Or Heavenly Agility and Hog. Basically picking up something to benefit the team, and Hog, or Wrath of the Gods, I guess is what it's called now. Wrath of the Gods and something to benefit the team are two core items for a tank. You can see Shock actually doesn't have that. Fenrir picked up Wrath of the Gods, and Shock went Eye and Enfeebling Curse. So they have 3 items here. 3 very strong items spread out between 2 gods. That's going to give them a ton of usability for the entire team. Enfeebling Curse, actually, he went for the attack speed debuff, which is going to hurt the Bakasura. However, if he would have gone with the Creeping Curse, the alternative, he could have negated all of the Ra heals, which weren't really all that important in team fights. They were more, Ra was using them a lot more after the team fight or before the team fight to heal people up. So probably not the worst decision to pick up the Enfeebling Curse, but he could have gone the other way and reduced our healing by 100% for team fights if we were getting a lot of raw healing or something like that. So either way is good. This is going to really hinder the Bakasura and the Artemis, both who were heavily on quick attack speed. So that's good. Those two were putting out a lot of damage, but it's not really going to hinder me or the Ymir or the Ra. Alku could also put out quite a bit of attack damage onto the Shock since he had 0 tanky items. If he would have built this and maybe built something for magical defense, which he definitely could have done, having 3 crit items is a lot devoted to crit. It's going to give you nearly 100% crit chance, which is really good. And I suppose he has Asi and Heartseeker. Once he finishes his build, what he could have done as well, if he wanted to, was sold Heartseeker. It gives you a lot of damage, but since you have so much crit here between the 3 crit items, he could have potentially sold Heartseeker and gone for a tanky item, or he could have sold Asi and gone for a tanky item, or he could have just not built 3 crit items. It's a lot. It's going to give you a pretty sustainable damage, and obviously he burst me down, but that was even before he had finished all of this. And since we really only had one god with much tankiness, actually, scratch that. Ra had breastplate, and I was building breastplate. So he was going to start coming up against some physical defense. But he still had plenty of damage, and since they didn't have a tank, obviously they didn't need it, but it would have been nice for them to have. All in all, I mean, I would say a lot of that game comes down to rotations and vision. We had none of either, and we just got outplayed. In the early game, they were just playing better than us, and late game they completely obliterated us 4v5. Their team fight presence was much stronger than ours. They were picking off the right characters at the right time, making team rotations, making decisions as a team, and making the right decisions as a team. So yeah, thank you for watching, and let me know if there's anything else you have questions about in the comments, anything else you'd like to see, let me know. I'll try and get something out for that. Thanks.